Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of the Natural Podcast. I got Rachel with me here today, and we're going to be talking about being fitness coaches. So I'm going to have her go a little bit over her story. We met through basically a coach that we had bought to help us learn how to promote our coaching business, and that's how we became friends. So I'm going to have her go ahead and share her story a little bit, and then I'll go over mine a little bit. So go ahead and tell us what got you into being a fitness coach.
Awesome. So like he said, we met over AJ, one of our mentors that we hired. And what really got me into fitness coaching was my own personal story. So about 7 years ago, I was 200 pounds. And I think like it shocks everybody to see pictures of that because I was like 70 pounds heavier than what I was today. And it took years and years and years for me to kind of figure out how to stay consistent, how to understand being healthy, how to get into that healthier mindset. And once I started to do that, I just started to fall in love, and life seemed a little bit more bright. And there was so many amazing parts about fitness that taught me about life as well, and how, you could really make anything that you wanted happen as long as you had that discipline to just stick to something. And all I did was go to the gym every single day. Like, I didn't care if it was raining or I didn't care if there was like hail, whatever it was, I had to make it to the gym. And I built like a family there basically. And so I just fell in love with it so much that I was like, you know what? I feel like there were so many things in the fitness industry that hindered my progress in the past, like so many gimmicks, so many diets, so many things telling me that like all I had to do with this booty blaster workout, and then all of a sudden I was going to lose 10 pounds, that I was like, I need to go back. I need to go back and tell more people that it's not like the fads that are going to get you there. It's not all these diets. And, once you build like that fun and that play and start enjoying things and start focusing more on the process and just like loving yourself, no matter if you lose 10 pounds this month or if you gain 2, that like, it's all okay. And it's all part of like this system and this process. And it's all just about like loving yourself again and getting to that better place in mind. Is really what like got me started and what made me think like, yeah, like this is something that I love to do. And the more people I help, the more I was like, wow, I'm gonna stay here. And so, yep, the rest is history.
Yeah, that's crazy. My story's pretty similar too. Like, when you don't really know what to do, you kind of just like go out there and you research on the internet, all these different things. I know for me in the beginning, I would just go running every day because I thought, running is gonna make me skinny, right? And then later you learn that too much cardio makes you burn muscle, and then if you burn muscle, you don't burn as much calories throughout the day. So then I started going on to like what is it called, Beachbody, all those workout programs, and like Shaun T and all that. And I started watching those and doing those like every day, and it was like kicking my butt. And I think that one was a big one for me. That helped me out a lot. But it's funny, like you said, like you didn't know what to do, and then like you were also just at a low point, and like then you got into it, and then like you said, you wanted to go back and like show people like, oh, there's a process to this. And like that's so true, because like even for me, I find myself like it's just so exciting. Like you get so passionate about it, and then you really want to share it and help other people with it. So it's really, really good, interesting topic to go over. But so what is exactly like your niche, would you say, with your business?
Yeah, so I help people find a more positive and healthy place in life that are going through transitions. So it's like if you're going through something really difficult, one of the examples is going through a divorce. That's a huge transition, and it's just something that just gets put on you that you kind of have to deal with. And in those big transitions, like losing somebody or getting a divorce, separating from your partner, it's like you lose a little piece of your identity. And I think that that's just natural to happen. Like we become dependent on other people. Like that's just humans, we rely on each other. We rely on things around us. And so on those moments, I've realized that for myself, even like whenever I've lost somebody, whenever I've gone through something, fitness has really brought me through it. I feel like the approach that I took to fitness and that my clients can take to fitness actually saves their lives or helps them through those difficult points, because it's just redefining and building yourself up so deeply. And so my niche really focuses on those people that feel like there's this huge transition happening, and that some of their identity almost feels lost because what's going on. It's like that huge thing that just happened. You're like, who the hell am I now? Like, I don't have my partner anymore, or I don't have my mom there anymore, or my car is broken now. Like, what's going on? Who am I? And so it's just redefining yourself and building yourself up. And anybody going through that type of struggle and needing that help out there is really who I focus on, because I know how much fitness can impact their lives.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. But yeah, no, for me, my niche, I would say, like, I'm still looking for it, but like people that are just like very, I've gone through like all these different things. Like at first I thought I wanted to like help like bodybuilders and all that. And then I kind of realized that field is like superficial. And then I started kind of doing my own thing. And what I've realized is like, what I enjoy most is like helping those people that, they're so stuck in their head and they have all these like beliefs on why they shouldn't work out and like all this thing that's like causing them pain, and like they're just like they want to be stuck in their comfort zones. For me, I feel like my niche and what I'm starting to focus more on is like helping those people break out of that. Like you said, that psychology, people that are like stuck in like that depressive phase, if they like something like that happens to them or they lose somebody or, something like that. And I think that's very interesting is, because you can sit there and like give people all this information, but they don't do it, at the end of the day, what are you going to do? You can't force someone to do something. So if you can kind of get in their head and really be like, hey, look, like you need to do this. Like this is going to make you feel so much better, and like bring them to that state, and I've done that with my clients, and like, it's a rewarding feeling. Like when you get someone past that phase and they're like, holy crap, like you really helped me. That's like such a rewarding feeling to have. Like it doesn't matter how much money they pay you. There's no feeling that can trump that feeling, knowing that you're benefiting someone's life for that reason. And like, I think that's a great niche to have. Like it's definitely, like the most rewarding thing you could definitely do. One of the most rewarding things, at least, you could definitely do in your life. But on top of that, I do want to go over, what do you think makes a successful coach?
I think a successful coach is built upon the same fundamentals fitness is built on. Within anything in life, really, I think, as you mentioned before, because I know you have the same idea, is like fitness teaches you so much about life. And every time I do something, I go back to fitness and references. So think about like coaching. If you're in the beginning, say you're like a beginner and you're like, I'm just starting off coaching. What do I need identity wise to be a successful coach? I'd say it would be the fundamentals of consistency, just like how we tell our clients. If you want your client to see serious results, what do you tell them? Well, you need to take serious action and stay consistent on it, and until you're staying consistent on it, you won't really know if it's working or not. So if you try to do like high carb or low carb, until you try high carb for like a month or two, you're not going to really know how it responds. So same with fitness coaching. If you want to know how to build up more clients, you should try making videos. Make videos for a month or two consistently, and let's see if that worked. Did that bring in a lot more people, a lot more traction? That helped. If not, let's try podcasting. So what is really going to make a successful coach isn't the fact of like how smart you are, how much you know. It's just how dedicated are you to making small, simple actions, like going to the gym every single day, no matter what, or showing up in some way, no matter what, that's really going to take you to the next level, and just having that confidence and that reminder of pleasure versus pain, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. That pain versus pleasure really does drive people. And like, ever since honestly, like I applied that to my life, that's really like what drives me, is like that regret of like, what if I don't like pursue my passions and go after what I want? Like when I'm like 70, do I want to be like on my grave thinking, oh God, I didn't do what I wanted because I was scared and I wanted to stay in my comfort zone? Like, and I think that's like such a powerful thing to like bring upon to people, but at the same time, it's hard because bringing people to that, point is almost difficult because, it's like, it's something you got to like really get personal with them. But at the same time, doing it, the reward is much greater. And touching on what you said, I'm trying to think real quick. But yeah, I think also when it comes to like what a successful coach is like being personable and really showing your vulnerability, you know, and like that is just a huge thing. Like when people see like, oh wow, he wasn't just born and raised like that, like a superstar football player that, you know, like I don't know, like whatever, like the super amazing guy that knows everything before, like, as he grew up, you know, like when you have that vulnerability story of like, yeah, I've been insecure, I've had that depression, I've had that feeling of like being in a low place, and I've broken out of that and like built this thing for myself. People were like, wow, like I can do that too, you know? So like it's just such a powerful thing. So for me, like I definitely think that's another thing that can definitely benefit someone, you know, trying to be a successful coach. So on top of that, so how can someone, in your opinion, benefit from a coach?
How can someone benefit from a coach? Well, I think that there's just like you 3 times your results when you have a coach. So a coach is kind of like somebody that's just going to lead you along through a process that they've been through. And I can vouch for that because when I first started going to the gym, when I was like 200 pounds, I was super awkward, just like walking through, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. And for the first year of going to the gym, like I saw absolutely no progress. Like I think at the end of that year, I was like maybe 180 still. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this is so fucking hard. Like it was so bad. And I was like, okay, like something's got to change, right? And then after that year, I started actually like getting coaches for fitness myself as well, and like started getting out of my little bubble and being like, okay, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. What's happening here? Can somebody help me? And I started like getting help from people, and all of a sudden it was like I couldn't keep the weight like on anymore. It was just falling off. I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe how easy this was and how much I had just like gone here and not known anything what I was doing, but I was still showing up. So it was like that was half of the process is like
Mm-hmm.
showing up, but it was also the other process that I was missing, which was like the skill set. So I think like that's with everything. You're either missing the mindset or the skill set. And so with a coach, they kind of bring everything together. They're like, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to keep you motivated. I'm going to help you out. And I'm also going to provide like that essential skill set that you need to get you there. And so that's kind of how I feel like most people benefit from coaches is just having both of those things in one safe, friendly, loving place that you can go to and be like, all right, things are going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like when I first started, like a coach definitely would help. I never actually bought a coach myself. I've bought like programs and I've bought like different kind of like we said before, diets and stuff like that. And I tried all these different things and bought all these books and just absorbed myself in knowledge. And you know, like just for me, it was more trial and error, and I just kept on doing and kept on doing. And I didn't really have any friends that were into fitness. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the friends I had at that time were just like poor influences. None of them really were into that. So it's just like I had to like basically learn it all on my own. And I never
Mm-hmm.
really went out and like got a coach, but like I literally was so absorbed in the information, everything I learned, I got more interested and more interested.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like the more and more deep I got, then I eventually started meeting people, and then you started networking with all these people and learning all these different things that you could do and trying all these different things. And it's crazy because it's right. Like nothing, there's not one thing that will work for everybody. You know, everybody's different. Everybody's body's different. You don't know who's going to have allergies to what, or who's going to respond to carbs differently than another person. So I think also as being a coach, being able to like find like what is beneficial for somebody is definitely like, you know, something powerful that you can give to that person.
Mm-hmm.
But, so let me go ahead and go on to the next one. So what quality should someone look for, do you think, when they're picking a coach? Like when I ask that question, I'm kind of thinking like, so let's say there's someone, I guess for you, for your niche, you know, like would be someone who just got a serious trauma and like, you know, went through something and now they have to look for a coach. So I guess what qualities would they have to look for that? And then what else do you think on top of that?
Okay. I think that that one is like an extremely difficult question because it takes a certain amount of self-awareness. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with everybody, it's very, very different. Like for you, you sound like the type of person that just like absorbs everything and like can just get everything down. And so the main thing for you is just getting the information. Like, it sounds like you don't really, really need like somebody to always be on your butt and like telling you to read or look and research. It sounds like you have that natural ability. So for you, I would say that like you only need somebody who's going to really give you a solid plan and just ask you if you like need anything else, you know, like, hey, here's the plate, eat it. And you're like, okay, I'm eating. Like, wait, hold on. Like, so for you, that's what I would say is like you need somebody who's going to really, really know the strategy very, very
Yeah.
well. And that's going to lead you to the place, you know. For somebody who doesn't have that, they're going to need to look for somebody who not only seems like very, very knowledgeable and somebody who seems like they've got the entire strategy down, but they're also going to need somebody who's like also extremely emotionally intelligent. Like, ho, 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 Susie, you don't seem yourself today. What's going on? You know? So
Yeah.
really, it's so true that like, okay, you have to have a certain amount of self-awareness to understand what you're looking for. I would say a big no-no of like looking for coaches is just looking for somebody who you want to be, because like who you want to be may not always be like the best person, or looking for somebody who's like this huge figure that seems ungodly. I think those are like the coaches that kind of like turn us all away. Like, I don't want to talk bad about, you know, any other coaches.
I know what you're saying.
I think they're all awesome, but it's like you said, you just want to be self-aware enough to say like, this is what I actually need versus like just what I kind of want, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I know what you're saying. Like, I remember me, I would like look at people and be like, oh, I want to have that body, you know, and like, oh, I want to have that. And the closer I got to it, I was like, do I really want that? Like, I remember when I was doing like bodybuilding competitions all the time, the bigger and bigger I'd get, I was like, you know, like, do I really need all this muscle? You know, like, it's just so hard to maintain. It's taking up so much of my life. And, you know, like, it really does. Like, you have to spend so much food, so much money on eating and all that stuff. And like so much time in the gym and stuff like that. It's just, you know, it could be really like, you know, tedious and stuff like that. So when you're looking at those idols, and a lot of people don't even know this, but like those people are basically like water depleted. You know, they're like fasting from like certain different things to make themselves look like that for that specific picture that they're taking. And, you know, they idolize these people, and it's like they're actually unhealthy, like looking like that. Like my picture on Instagram, like that's horribly unhealthy. Like I felt horrible that day.
Yeah.
That picture, but people were like, "Oh wow, I want that body," you know, which is like unrealistic. So yeah, I think you got to like really just be comfortable, you know, like just be comfortable with what you are, and like, yeah, lose the weight for more of like a healthy, well living kind of like aspect, you know. So maybe when you're seeking a coach, you know, don't really look for, oh, this person's got that body I want, but oh, how can I relate to this person, and how can I connect with this person? Because at the end of the day, I feel like if you don't connect with that person, like you're not going to really benefit. You know, if that person can't relate to you, how can you really help that person? So I think that's a really big thing if you're like looking for a coach, is being able to relate to the other person, really be able to connect. So that's another thing. Next question. Oh yeah, we went over this one. What kind of pressure do you get as a fitness coach?
Oh yeah. So we were talking about this earlier, and I just want to reaffirm the fact that if you're a fitness coach, you don't have to be perfect, because I think that every single coach does not follow their own practices 100% of the time. And I don't think that they expect their clients to either, but it's this fact that you put on this pressure to yourself that you need to be perfect, that you need to be healthy all of the time. And I think that it causes a lot of disorders as well within coaches. Like I remember when I used to work at a big box gym, and I was talking to my manager, and she used to manage huge gyms with a bunch of trainers. And she's like, you know, in every group of trainers, I would have people with a lot of mental disorders within, like working out too much, you know, anorexia, whatever it may be. And it's because it's just like within the fitness industry, like we believe we have to be like that. You know, we're supposed to be those idols. We're supposed to be those depleted people. But some of us don't even realize, like, okay, when you get that depleted, when you get that, you know, super crazy sculpted body, like you feel like crap, you know, you're not like fully fed sometimes, or you're not like fully hydrated. And so I think that we put those pressures on ourselves as well too much, and we feel like, oh, if I don't look like so and so, my business isn't going to do as well because I don't have that perfect body, and everybody just wants to follow people that have that perfect body. So I think it's like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and women a lot of times as well, just because like that's what you just open up your Instagram and look at the front explore page, and all you're going to see is six packs, ass, and tits, right? And so it's like they get all this crazy pressure to look like those women, when in reality it's like, are those women even happy? Those women don't even look like those women on a regular basis.
No, that's really funny because it's true. Like when you look at those pictures, it's like they're literally, it looks like they're almost always perfect. But I guarantee you, a lot of them are just taking pictures when they look perfect, not when they don't look perfect.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, but it's funny that you say that. I feel like maybe women, I mean, not maybe, but I'm pretty sure women have more pressure than men as far as looking like that, because when a woman is like out of shape, people are like, oh, I'm disgusted. And like guys are so like judgmental because we got testosterone coursing through our bodies and stuff like that. And it's true because like they have so much pressure and they have to look like that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, that people like make fun of them and stuff like that. And even for guys, but not as much, you know, like I don't really see it happen so much for guys. So it really sucks, I guess, you know, having that pressure, especially as a woman, you know, like I've never really felt that pressure as much. I remember in the beginning, like I did, like I would feel like I have to work out, and if I was eating like bad, like in front of other people, or like even like people
yeah.
that know your coach or stuff like that, you know, they're like, oh, like why are you eating that stuff? You know, I thought, you know, you eat healthy and stuff like that. And it's like, well, I can't enjoy my life too.
I know. That's the thing that was super frustrating when I started getting healthier. And if I ever had a cheat meal and somebody saw me, they'd be like, oh, you look so much better now. Don't ruin it. You're eating a donut. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I would literally hide in my car. Like I just didn't want anybody to see me eating bad. And like, it was just a super bad negative like effect, because when you're losing weight, like it sounds like you've lost a lot of weight yourself as well. Is that correct?
I've lost about, the heaviest I ever was like 220, and I went down to like 180.
Okay.
So I guess that's kind of a lot.
That's a lot. I mean, 40 pounds is a huge amount of weight for many, many people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so going through that process, it's like, I'm sure that you got people saying, oh, you look so much better. You look like you're getting healthy. And then if you ever gain any weight, you start like, oh, people are going to tell me I'm not looking healthy anymore. I'm eating something bad. And, you know, it's not only pressure from like your friends or whatever, but it's like your family. I'm sure you was like, oh, you know, you were doing so good. Don't ruin it by eating this. And
except grandma. Grandma's going to be like, oh, well, you look so skinny. You got to eat. I don't know if you got that. But my grandma's always like, whenever she saw me, like, I remember one time I was like, right around when I was training for my competition, I was like so lean. And she goes, oh, like you need to eat. And I'm like, oh, you know, I feel pretty healthy. Like I wasn't like at the point where I was like at 4% body. I was still like at a healthy body fat percent range, which is like, she's like, oh, you look so bad. You need to eat, you know, like, but it was just so funny because I was like, in my head, I'm like, no, I'm actually like lean and like healthy. But, you know, in her mind, she's like, oh, you need to eat.
Yeah.
Also, like what you said with like people seeing you, like me when I went vegan, like I really didn't do it right in the beginning. I lost a lot of muscle, and people were like, oh, dude, you lost a lot of size. And I did. I lost like, I hate to admit it, but I lost like almost like 20 pounds of muscle, you know, and people were just literally like, oh, like they could see it. And they're like, you lost size, man. Are you okay? You eating healthy? And it's like, no, I'm just exploring different diets, and I'm not, you know, working out as intense. You know, I used to do like all this powerlifting and craziness, and like, you know, I actually like hurt my back one day, and that's when I kind of like stopped going so crazy. But yeah, like that pressure of like, of that. It's funny. I never really thought about that till you really asked me that question or said that question. So that's really funny because it's really true. You do get a lot of pressure being a fitness coach.
Yeah, they're just like everything is like under a microscope for other people. They're gonna be like, well, what is he doing? You know, because they want to know something from you, and then they're watching you, and you sometimes even let that get to your head. You're like, oh my gosh, you know, like this holiday season, I gained like 10 pounds, and I'm just like, oh my God. I just like feel it. You're just like, oh Jesus. And and I took 2 weeks off. I got really sick. And so my doctor told me to take 2 weeks off of the gym, and it was the holiday season. So I gained like 10 pounds, and I just like almost thinking about like, oh my gosh, when I go back to the gym, like, that's gonna be interesting because, you know, everybody's seen you and they've seen all my progress. I've always lived in the same place. Everybody knows my story as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're always like, oh, good job. But then after the holiday season, you're like, yeah, whatever. Whatever. It was a good vacation, guys.
Yeah. Nah, that's funny that you said that because like the same thing happened to me. Like I hurt my knee, so I haven't been in the gym as much. And I'm not even working out legs. Like that's a big thing. Like when you don't work out, like you start losing weight quick. Like if you have big legs, you start losing weight quick because like, you got a lot of muscle down there.
Yeah.
And so I haven't been in the gym like working out legs as much, and like I can even see it, like the difference, you know.
Yep, the circumference.
But,
and
yeah,
for men too, with testosterone, like it's such a big testosterone pump when you do legs and when you work out your legs. So it's kind of
exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You see the dwindling. I made my boyfriend stop working out too for the week, for the 2 weeks. I mean, it wasn't like I made him, but I was sick, so he stayed, like, took care of me, and like, so he stopped going to the gym for a little while too, and he was just like, oh my God, all my legs are dwindling. It was the funniest thing, and I know
that's funny. Most guys don't even work out legs. I'm surprised your boyfriend does.
Oh, so we both do Olympic lifting, and so we're like every single day.
That's right. I see you always doing those snatches. You're getting good at those. Yeah. What are you at now for power snatching?
I don't know. Nothing. Like the bar. No.
Those are hard because I used to do CrossFit. I think the most I ever got to was 135 with a snatch.
That's not bad. You're 180 pounds?
Yeah, now I'm like 195.
That's not bad. I think that like CrossFit is very, very different than Olympic lifting just in structure. So CrossFit is like reps, right? And then Olympic lifting is extreme technique. So like usually the Olympic lifters will not look like a CrossFitter. Like a CrossFitter is going to come out with like a super built body in every single way, and they're athletes, and I don't recommend it for people that aren't like super athletic regardless. But Olympic lifting, like they don't even look like they work out. Like you'll see they've got tiny upper bodies for the most part. Like they're super, super big, but they have a very different build because all it is like throwing weight overhead and just being very, very structured with it. Like this guy, Luke, we call him Little Luke because he's kind of little, but he weighs like maybe 125 pounds, and he snatches like almost 200 pounds. And it's because crazy. It's such a technique versus it. And that's the fun part about it. So people that are more interested in learning like those techniques and making sure that you're getting everything super technical, you can lift a lot more when, like you at your weight, you probably could have lifted a lot more weight just knowing like those simple cues and techniques. But CrossFit doesn't really teach that because it's more for just like reps and just putting it up instead of like extend, break here and then go there.
That's interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Now that you said it, you kind of got me interested in trying Olympic lifting.
Dude, you got.
But I guess it's kind of like powerlifting too, because.
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna slap you through the computer. It's not like powerlifting.
Because the Olympic lifts would be deadlifts. What is it? Gosh, I even learned this too. So deadlifts, you got the snatch, and then the clean, and then the clean and jerk or something like that. Like which ones are they? I know you gotta slap me. You gotta like. For a little while.
I was like, "Where's he gonna go with it? Where is he gonna go?" So, powerlifting is comprised of 3 lifts, which is deadlift, bench press, and squat. And then Olympic lifting is comprised of 2 lifts, which is the snatch and the clean and jerk. And so it's only 2 lifts, and then powerlifting is only 3 lifts.
Well, okay, that's powerlifting. All right, yeah, I got that confused. That's funny because like now that I think about it, like whenever I watch the Olympics, you never see anybody do the deadlifts and everything. It's funny how I didn't know that. I probably should be slapped in the face right now.
Oh my gosh, no. Well, the thing is like powerlifting and Olympic lifting are just very different mentalities. So I don't know if you've ever gone into like psychology of sports-ish in terms of like the different mentalities it takes to be athletic or be an athlete. And I'm sure you've done that because in your competition, you had to do some type of thing like that. And everybody in your competition kind of have a similar mindset where they're like grind, do the work, count your macros, very meticulous types of people. When you go into yoga, you're going to find yogis. You're going to find the people that are like, I just kind of like want to be free and feel good, and then you get calisthenics and they're like, I'm the badass yogi, where I'm like, I want to be free, but I also want to be really cool and like do flips. Powerlifters are like macho men or macho women. They're just like, I'm really,
I think they're better than everybody.
Lots of testosterone.
Like, people have no clue. You just gotta power lift.
Yeah, exactly.
Never do like any isolation exercises or nothing.
Yeah,
big compound lifts.
Super, super interesting mindset. And then but they're very power lifters. They have like, it's kind of like a meathead type of thing. I mean, we've all seen the power lifters, and it's not anything bad to them. I like, great job. It's an amazing sport. It takes a lot of dedication. And then Olympic lifters are the like technicals. So we're very like technical. We want to understand the complexities of the little details and like understanding how ABC and like getting down ABC over and over again, and like just understanding like those minute details that make the lift that much better, and consistency. So there's just such a different mindset with everything. And I've really explored so many different sports, which allowed me to like get to see those different personalities that come out in sports and that sports produce versus different sports. And so what I've found with Olympic lifting is they're just extremely detail orientated people. And it takes an extremely detail orientated person and somebody who's like very like interested in following the rules type of person to go into that, which is interesting. I mean, that's a general basis of them. I'm sure there's like outliers. There's got to be, but that's what I've noticed within them.
Yeah. No, that's interesting you said, because I never really learned psychology, but now that I go back and I think about it, it's true, because you got bodybuilding, and you even got like the hybrids where there's like people who do bodybuilding and powerlifting. And there's people, I'm pretty sure there's people that probably do Olympic lifting and maybe powerlifting too. So that's interesting that you say that, the psychology. It's so true. You like think of a powerlifter, you think of like a guy grunting in the gym, like with the chalk, and then, doing his stuff and pounding his chest and stuff like that. Then you think about a bodybuilder, and they're like that person that was like always looking at themselves in the mirror, like checking themselves out, posing and stuff like that. I guess I really wouldn't know what like an Olympic lifter would do, when you see them. But and then CrossFitters, like you said, they have that body type that, upper body's kind of low, like small, then the lower body's low. But I feel like CrossFitters are almost like kind of like power lifters in that sense that they have that, that same, it's almost the same. You know what I mean? Like they have that chalk mentality, that whole chalk thing that they got going on. They got that like,
something with you and chalk. I'm feeling like, who hurt you with chalk in the past? Like, the chalk and the chalk.
No, that's just like what I think. Like whenever I think about a powerlifter, I think they always got their chalk, because that's what I used to do. Is like I would always have chalk with me.
Yeah.
Because I was into powerlifting.
Powerlifting is cool, but I feel like not a lot of people do very structured form with powerlifting, and it can cause a lot of problems. And that goes the same with CrossFit. People aren't concerned with form, and they just want to they bro lift is what we call like bro lifting. You're just bro lifting, and it's like, sure, I can pull 300 pounds, break my back, I'll hurt myself, but I'll pull it. And that's like the difference is like, you cannot power or like bro lift in Olympic lifting. So that's where the difference comes in. Is you bro lift in Olympic lifting, you're gonna literally kill yourself. It's fun to see that. CrossFitters, I think, are, I don't know, I just see them as like animals. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Lord have mercy. Like, they're animals. They're just like in every aspect. They do everything. So it's extremely athletic. I don't know the full mentality, but CrossFit comes with a mentality. Like, I think that's some of the lure to it, is the fact that it's like a tribe and a culture to it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely do another podcast on it because that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely look up more into it and like really kind of see the analytics and all that, like he said.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's not brush off too much off topic. So, is there anything else like you want to ask about being or put out there about being a fitness coach and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you think you want to put out there that you think would be useful information for somebody?
Definitely. I think that, I mean, we talked a lot about philosophy within this podcast and within this episode about the mentality of being a fitness coach and, understanding your client's mentality and just going into even athletes' mentality. And so, some like concrete stuff that's really important about like online coaching is like, yes, mentality is like 90% of it, and having that mentality to keep going is 90% of it and wanting to help people. But then there's also the skill set. And so like if you're struggling within it, and especially for online coaching, is just to do what Adrian does, which is really invest yourself in understanding the background and the structure, because the information is out there to understand how to do all of this stuff. And really, like, nobody knows what the hell we're doing. Like, I guarantee you, nobody knows what we're really actually doing. And so don't worry too much about like what other people are doing as much. I mean, if somebody's successful, go ahead and hire mentors, but just realize that like whatever you're doing is good as long as you're just showing up and researching and actually looking at the fundamental skills it takes to do this kind of stuff, which is like just software. It's as simple as Googling, how do you become a trainer? What software do you need? What's available? And it'll lead you to the next place. So with that, I just hope that like you understand that the skill set behind it isn't hard to attain. Like, it's literally right at your fingertips, and that, you can do this as long as you've got that mentality to stick to it.
Yeah. No, that's true. And it's funny because like it's true, all that information is out there. You can get it free. You can just look up on the internet, oh, how do I lose 10 pounds? And you have like 5,000 different ways,
Mm-hmm.
But I think when it comes to like getting a coach, what really is beneficial is just having someone that can really help you see what you're doing wrong. Because
Mm-hmm.
remember, like you said, it took you like a few years to really figure out how to do it right, and you had to keep on asking all these different people. Like for me, I had to keep on researching stuff. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think back, if I had known, all the things I knew about powerlifting, eating right, and all that stuff, and working out in the beginning, I
Yeah.
would have saved so much time, and I would have gotten where I needed to get so much faster. So I
Yeah.
guess like you said, a coach basically like 10 times is what you're trying to get to. They're able
Right.
to see, and sometimes you don't see it yourself, so that person's able to see and get you into that position where like, oh, okay, well, this is what I'm doing wrong, so this is what I need to fix, like, so I can get onto the steps of getting where I want to be,
Right.
physically, and since we go for more of the mental aspect as well, mentally as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's like the biggest benefit of a coach is like no matter what, I think everybody's gonna get there. Like humans are gonna figure it out. Hiring a coach is just actually like buying time more than
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Time, which is really worth
More than anything
more
else.
than anything. Yeah, exactly. For me, money is time. I mean, time is money, so
Yeah.
anything you can do to save time, definitely do it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Awesome. So yeah, I think we got everything we needed. That was a good one. That was a lot of fun. So just go ahead and like share where people can find you, well, the best way for people can find you and other places where they can find you. And then I'll give a little bit of, where they can find me if someone maybe from your side is looking.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so if anybody wants to go ahead and find me, it's very easy to find me through my name, which is Rachel, Rachael, Takasaka, Takesaka. Only person with that name. So if you find that name and that's me, then you'll know it's me. There's nobody else there. If you want to find me on social, which I would love it if you did, and you reached out to me and said, hey, I heard about this podcast. It's creation_movement on Instagram. And if you want to go ahead to my website or check anything else out over there, it's creationmove.com. And so any of the three, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to hear from you. If there's anything I can do for you, I'd love to be able to help you out. Or, if anything Adrian and I can do for you, we'd love to help you out.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, if you want to find me, you can also find my podcast. If you want to find more, I have a lot of different ones that I've done. You can look up my veganism one if you're looking to live a vegan life. You can look up my minimalist one if you're looking to what minimalism is. Also just did one on spiritual. I haven't released it yet, but probably by the time this one's out, it'll be out. But anyways, you can find me on SoundCloud, The Natural Podcast. That's my podcast. You can find that on SoundCloud. You can also find me on Facebook. So go to facebook.com/Adrian, ADRIAN, _Lammersdorf. And then you can also find me. You can look at my website if you want, but I don't really recommend finding me there. If you want to email me there, maybe. But you could do that. That's Natural Fitness Florida, FL, not actual Florida, but FL.com. I'm trying to think, do I got anything else? Also, if you want to like my page on Facebook, Instagram. Let me give my Instagram. So Instagram is going to be natural_fitness_Adrian. Just how I spelled Adrian before, ADRIAN. So you can go ahead and find me there. But anyways, guys, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this podcast and brought you guys some value. I'm looking forward to doing another one with you with the psychological side of, lifting. So that'll be a fun one. So thanks for watching, guys, and take care.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Adrian.